Good evening and welcome again back to the Outlaw eSports series. Here tonight, the seventh and final race of the season. Texas Motor Speedway is the place. Fort Worth, Texas, 1.5 miles exactly from the inside measurement. 4 turns with a little dog leg, man. With all that being going on, we're going to be announcing it here tonight with these super late models. 10 guys going for the top spot. Navarro still on top at this point. I'd like to bring in at this point also my co-host, Bucky Burt from Charleston, South Carolina.
And you are Ray Richer.
From Mohawk, New York.
That's right.
So
hey, Ray, how are you?
Well, you know what? Not too bad. Had a little ride today for work all the way around about 460 miles. But you know something? I'm ready to announce a race tonight. How's things down in UPS land down there in Charleston?
Pretty busy. But the good thing is I'm here tonight and to call this race with you, Ray. And it's going to be a really good race. This series, over the course of the 7 races, has seen all kinds of racetracks with the exception of road courses. And tonight, they're going to finish at what track? A big
Texas.
track. How about
Texas?
that? Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting to it. I was trying to go because they got the big Haas. I was trying to off the cuff trying to think of something clever, and I sucked at it. So
yeah, and those of you who don't know who Big Haas is, by the way, that is the biggest TV screen at a sports facility basically in the world, and I believe that has been beat, if I'm not mistaken, and that has to do with Texas Motor Speedway as well as the Dallas Cowboys facility down there in Texas, if I'm correct. But regardless,
I think it was first. It was Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep.
And then then Texas got Big Haas.
Well, with that all being
bigger in Texas, yeah.
With that all being said, no hold'em tonight. You're watching the PMI LLC Texas Twins tonight. You're going to see 2 races, not 2 laps, 50 laps apiece, 2 races, super late models, 10 guys right now going for the big spot, and we're going to get our lineup here very shortly. 1.5 miles, like I said, Fort Worth, Texas, half of a fuel load. No tires tonight allowed on any of these cars. That's going to make things awful interesting in the long run because it's a bigger track, faster speeds, and again, a little bit more tire wear. So let's get your lineup for this evening. Right at the top, of course, right off the bat, Garrett Maines is out on front. Derek Fulton on the outside of the front row. Lee Morgan will start on the inside of your second row in the 43 machine. Bradley Wilson on the outside. Curtis Chrisley will be in 5th place, as well as Andrew Navarro is on the outside of him. Ron Hart in 7th. 8th will be Billy Gray, and Dad Galat will be in 9th, as well as Dylan Thomas will round out your top 10. We're down to 10 cars, a lot of guys eliminated as we get through here, and again, 7 races is what this is. We're ready for our Christmas kickoff at Texas Motor Speedway tonight.
That's right, and the last 2 qualifiers, Dylan Thomas and Dan Gallant, they're the only drivers in the field that did not take a time, so they will start at the back, and I'm pretty sure they're not worried, right, because tonight, these guys are going to have to save tires because, as you mentioned, no tires are going to be given. So you're going to run what you brought, I guess, or what you start on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you got to think about it. Super speedways with faster cars, you don't get a lot of tire wear. And again, these things aren't 200-mile-an-hour machines, but they'll get up there about 170 or so at this facility. But Garrett Maines, again, on the point. Not sure what the holdup here is to get things rolling, but we're going to see. There we go. Pace car's pulling off right now. We're going to follow Garrett Maines out onto the speedway. So again, Garrett Maines on the point tonight inside 1 lap, and we'll let him loose next time around.
Now, Ray, with these guys not having extra sets of tires, they have to run the race on what they start. I think what that's going to do is it's going to show us, out of these 10 drivers in the field, who is more likely to do a better job at saving their tires. Are you going to see guys fall back early in the race just so they can save to have it at the end? What are your expectations?
You know, tire management is definitely the way to be tonight. And there's another thing I've noticed, Bucky, by the way. I only see 6 cars out there. This is the race. 10 cars did come here to qualify. There we go. We got another car coming up the rear. That looks like the
and another one coming
machine.
In the rear.
Guy still trying to get out there. That's Ron Hart catching up. The 11 car of Billy Gray. I do not see the last 2 of Dylan Thomas or Dan Gallant. They did not take times. They do still show to be connected to the server. We're going to keep an eye out for them. Again, now 8 cars are ready to roll as they come around the banking in turn 3.
That's right. So pace car is going to duck onto pit road here on the exit of turn 4. You're going to see it right here on your screen. Pace car is coming around, bringing the field. They're roaring and ready to go. Garrett Maines is on the point. Ray, I'll let you call it to the green.
For the first time tonight, again, 2 twin 50-lap races tonight. Pace cars off, everybody back up to the front and ready to go until they hit that green flag. A little bit of a long ways down there. Green flag is in the air for the first time tonight, and we've got a race underway. Garrett Maines out to the point. Derek Fulton rolls a little bit to the outside, leaves a little bit of room down to the bottom side. He's got the opening down there, 2x2 behind him, and that'd be the 43 of Lee Morgan and the 51 of Bradley Wilson side by side for third.
Garrett Maines coming down the back straightaway with the pack behind him. He's got a commanding start now. Derek Fulton's closing in. He's about a half a car length behind.
One of the things I'm going to keep an eye on here, Bucky, as well as yourself, see how low they roll around that track as much as they do, because, again, it's always on the high side, second, third groove, you want to save your tire wear. But, again, if they lower on the bottom side, it's going to wear it out pretty quick. The bottom side now wide open. Fulton loads it to the top. He's in the second groove, almost looking to make it 3 wide with the 51. But the 43 of Lee Morgan gets to the inside. Everybody flat out down the backstretch.
That's right. Derek Fulton under pressure with Lee Morgan underneath, and Bradley Wilson going to follow him. Derek Fulton, he's trying to hang on to third, but he's got a challenge in Bradley Wilson.
Right now in second again, Lee Morgan takes up over that spot, still using that bottom side. Fulton to the outside, and Bradley Wilson, as you were saying, Bucky, to the inside. Again, everybody trying to get a freight train going with that 7-0 car, or 7 car anyway, 7D as we'll call it. 3 wide down the backstretch, they'll go. That's the 27 of Curtis Chrisley. Chrisley, one of the guys that ran the Snowball Derby here just a little over a week ago. The number 2, Navarro, gets a little bit of slipping going on there, but he makes it 3 wide, coming down through 4.
Yeah, with that whole 3 wide situation, Bradley Wilson was trying to go for third, but Curtis Chrisley said, hey, I'm here to party. I'm going to take that position. So Bradley Wilson and Derek Fulton are falling back into the field. Garrett Maines is still your leader with Lee Morgan in second.
Curiosity ensues with the 51 as well as the 7 of Derek Fulton. With them going in that second and third groove, again, as we're talking about tires earlier, they're able to take and save a few on that lap. I mean, they drop back, which if that's the case, they might be able to get some traction by finally getting on the bottom side and following these guys. It's almost like a little mini Daytona as right now the top 4 of Navarro, Chrisley, Morgan, and Maines pull away. It looks like Chrisley's going to the inside, trying to catch Maines. He's on the inside of Lee Morgan at the moment in time. Morgan to the top side. They make 2 wide. Chrisley takes over that second place spot, but only for a moment. And right behind him, Navarro giving him a nice shove, and the 43 falls back on the outside line.
Yeah, Andrew Navarro has been aggressive here as since the drop of the green flag. He started in, 6th place, Ray? And he's now up to 3rd, battling for 2nd. He is on the charge currently.
And with all that being said, Maines is just kind of cruising away. But as I say that, Chrisley aims it to the bottom side, going through 1, breaks up about 3 spots between him and Navarro, who's in 3rd. And he able to catch the back end of the 1 just for a little bit until Maines was able to get a nice runaway on the onboard right now of Curtis Chrisley's car from the passenger seat of the camera there. You're going to see him come around turn 4, everybody flat out down to the stripe.
Now, Ray, in this situation here, when you're in 2nd place, you got, and who is that? Curtis Chrisley, I think, got the wall there on the exit of turn number 1. Andrew Navarro is going to get around him. Do you save tires, Ray, by just hitting your marks, following the guy in front of you, or do you have to try and find a line around this racetrack that is going to work for you? What's the best way to save tires but also not lose time to the leader?
Well, I mean, it's considered if you get to the line of the guy in front of you. I mean, you've got your vacuum from the draft behind them. Yes, these cars do cause a draft. I mean, they're hitting upward speeds right now at about 160 going into the corner, even 165 I just saw before they hit number 2. But anyways, with that all being said, if you get a draft going, I mean, it'll help you. It'll help actually pull the car around the corner just a little bit. But as I saw we were saying that last time, Chrisley, he lost the front end going into 1 as well as coming out of 4. But he right now is following Navarro to the outside, who is finally caught in Maines. And I still say back to the original question, though, I think that your own line is what you're looking for. Again, more to the bottom side, a sharper turn, getting to the bottom, you're going to scrub off those tires a little quicker. But again, this is not an aggressive track. In other words, you should say abrasive anyways to take and wear tires out. Watching Navarro now, he gets to the back side of Maines, and it looks like we're going to have a challenge for first.
Yeah, Maines put the block on him there on the back stretch. Andrew Navarro, I think, is the faster car right now. But Maines is committed to the bottom. Andrew Navarro, he has looked everywhere. He has come from 6th in the back of the pack all the way up to 2nd, battling for the lead. He's done it from the bottom, and he's done it from the top, and he is right there all over Garrett Maines. And Ray, it looks to me like Garrett Maines is kind of sliding through the corner. I don't know if that's just how these cars are set up, but it just looks like he gets a little loose in the middle of the corner there. I don't know if you can see that.
And keep an eye out. I just seen that coming off of 4, exactly what you just pointed out. That little rear end slippage will actually cost him about a half a car length between him and Navarro. I mean, he went from 2.5 high banks at Daytona to a 1.5 mile cookie cutter track as Texas is. But with that being said, these guys are flat out wide open using the draft. And a good example of that, by the way, Billy Gray is out of the draft, and unfortunately, he's way out behind all these guys, about 3 seconds back from the leader, all alone his own zip code back there. So either he's going to have to wait for a caution, a pit, or maybe the next race of the 50 laps. So right now we come down to the stripe, and it looks like we got lap 11 happening, or at least just got done happening, 39 laps to go.
You would think this was the final lap of this race, the way these front cars are racing. But Ray, if you're Garrett Maines, are you doing what you're doing right there, or you just let him go?
I would definitely keep doing what you're doing. I mean, he's holding the lead just well. No tire wear really happening right now. I know you just seen the rear end got loose a couple times there, but keep an eye on that number 1. He knows what he's doing. Trust me, he's got a lot of wins, like I said before, on the server. With that all being said, the draft is working right now for everybody else behind him. So I'm going to believe that Garrett has got that number 1 machine all hooked up pretty hard, as well as a foot right on the floor. And as again, we can talk about the draft up front. These top 4, actually 5 right now, are all together. And it looks like the 43 of Lee Morgan back there, who is in the 6th spot, lost the draft a little bit. Now I say that, though. He's Chrisley kind of lost a little bit of the draft, come back and almost grabbing the front of the Lee Morgan's car. But Wilson is finally losing the draft as well. That's the 51 out and back of this pack of 5.
Now, one car I'm a little impressed with, Ray, is Derek Fulton. He started P2. He dropped back. Now he's working his way back through the field. Do you see who's not with him? Bradley Wilson. He and Bradley Wilson were battling for 2nd and 3rd spot. They fell back. Derek Fulton's been able to make it back through the field. Bradley Wilson's tail into these guys.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. Wilson was losing the draft, as we were talking about a minute ago, but seems like he caught the tail end of the Lee Morgan machine. He's able to keep up with him. And what I went before was I had a little tap between the 87 and the 43. What did you see that I didn't see, Bucky?
What I saw was, the 2, the 27, and the 1, they were all over the place there for a minute. Andrew Navarro almost had a run on the outside, and Curtis Chrisley was sideways. Contact was avoided, let's just say that. Garrett Maines continues to lead Andrew Navarro by a 1/10 of a second.
And to give you an idea of how good or bad these cars are in the draft, everybody caught up. Everybody caught it. I see the run there up front. Everybody caught a bit of a draft here last lap. And one of the problems I seen was the 43 Lee Morgan. He butted the rear end of Derek Fulton's car, went to the outside to avoid everybody, and the 87 got by him as well as the 51. But now I see the 51 is falling back. That's Bradley Wilson. And he's going to have to get the tail end of that 43 and catch a ride back up to the front. But as I'm talking about that up front, another challenge for the lead. Navarro was to the outside for a moment, snuck back in behind the one of Garrett Maines, and Chrisley right on the tail of that number 2 for a challenge all the way through the top 4.
I know I said it a few laps ago. These guys are running like it's the last few laps of the race. But it is so neat seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 cars just nose to tail running around here, and they're sliding. There, you got the 2 of Andrew Navarro looking to the outside. Then Curtis Chrisley's going to look to the inside, but they can't get anywhere with it. Garrett Maines is in command of this race.
Well, I'm telling you, Garrett, like you were asking before, what to do. He's doing exactly what he needs to. Chrisley to the inside. Navarro now with a challenge for second. He's got the low line, got the nose ahead of Navarro. Navarro falls to the outside. Half a car length lead right now by Chrisley into second. And it looks like Navarro's going to fight back in that second groove. No drafting help, but again, able to take and hold on to that number 2 machine. Chrisley gets loose to the bottom side. Looks like Ron Hart's going to give it a try and then thinks twice about it. Jumps back in line. Everybody right now, single file going down through turn 1.
That definitely helped Navarro there, but Curtis Chrisley's going to look again. He's not going to be successful. Ray, excuse me, I've noticed some of the last couple of laps, not this lap obviously, but the last couple of laps, Navarro exits turn 2 really high, and I get worried because it looks like he's heading to the fence. And I think that kind of set up the Curtis Chrisley to make the move on him. Obviously got it back, together. But have you noticed that maybe his car is a little tight? See, as he takes it real high, see how high he exits.
See, I'm believing, by the way, this is an open setup league. I think from what I'm seeing here on my screen, with that all being said, everybody kind of makes their own little way with their car. Well, Navarro has a good setup in the short run, and what could be happening, like you were just saying, Bucky, the push could be also due to aero off the back of, right now, Garrett's car, so we'll have to see if he goes to the fence the closer he gets, or just kind of losing that front end as we go longer on the run. I see right now he had to arc it pretty high to get it to stick to go down through one. Nice little challenge behind him between the 27 87. Ron Hart and Chrisley. Chrisley had the advantage, but it looks like Hart's got the inside this time. Chrisley's got him by a nose, and still watching that number 2, Navarro, make sure he doesn't slip up in front of the 27. They're able to make it down through turn 4. So, yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that front nose of that number 2 machine. I'm pretty sure you're right, though, Bucky. I think it is. He's just getting a push to that car. We're 30 laps into this event, 20 to go.
That's right. Curtis Chrisley lost the battle for second to Ron Hart. He's going to take that. Curtis Chrisley's stuck on the outside here. See if Derek Fulton can make a move underneath him. But as of right now, I think he should be fine. But knowing Curtis Chrisley, he's going to battle back to get that 3rd spot. And we got a battle for the lead. Andrew Navarro is going to take it to the outside. I think it's going to work, Ray.
So far, he's got it. Left rear corner is clear. And it gets down in front of, right now, the number 1 of Maines from the rear bumper camera, the number 2. And Maines will back off just a hair, but he's got Ron Hart on his tail. Hart backs off of it, and the 27 of Chrisley gets into the rear end just for a second. Not enough to spin anybody or have any issues, just everybody kind of separate out by about 2 car lengths. And Maines right now behind the number 2 will in second. Navarro with a killer run off of turn 3. Look at the length that he got from that lead, probably a good 5 or 6 car lengths now. Back to the stripe, man, about 22 laps ago when we hit it.
Yeah, it took him 20 laps. He was all over Garrett Maines for 20 laps. And it makes you wonder, with this huge lead that he now has, if Garrett Maines gets sideways, they do not bring out a caution. That's going to separate everybody. But what I was saying is, with that run that Navarro had into 3 the last time around, and now he is just checked out from the field, it makes you wonder, was the one of Garrett Maines holding everybody up?
Well, we say that Garrett Maines. Yeah, Maines gets down to pit road. Will he have it slow down in time is my next question. He came off of turn 4 hard, and he lost the rear end when he hit the brakes, as well as a 27 right now. That would be Curtis Chrisley. They're doing their pit stop for fuel. Of course, we just now discovered your fuel runs are about 25 laps long, so that's what we're going to do. That's why they got 50% fuel. Maines will hit his pit. No tires. There is one other guy in. That would be Billy Gray. That was the guy who was holding his own in the back. He's coming off pit lane. It looks like Navarro's hitting it this time as well.
And we are
everybody else in the field is coming in as well. So it looks like Maines is going to have the advantage of getting out there. Billy Gray, by the way, is a lap down at this point if it continues the way it is. And keep in mind, it takes some time to put fuel in these cars. That's why now you're just seeing the number 1 as well as the 27 pulling away after everybody else has already gotten a lap in the books. That's about 30 seconds for a pit stop. It's not your usual NASCAR type of stuff. So back out we go. Garrett Maines in the lead.
Well, not yet, Ray, but he should assume the lead.
Yes.
So here's the thing. So obviously this is halfway. So if they stay green, they should be able to finish the race, no problem. But this is where it's important. Green flag pit stops, getting on and off of pit road. Navarro's leaving pit road now. Garrett Maines at the start-finish line. He's going to have the lead as they go on to the backstretch. It's going to be close.
Maines with the excessive speed, of course, being up to full song right now, but it looks like Chrisley's getting lost behind as the entire pack is coming out right around the same area as Chrisley. Chrisley was in second, basically not in scoring, but the way they were right now, he's going to pull up to 3rd. And on the inside of him, Navarro with that fresh tank of fuel. That is the challenge right now for 2nd and 3rd place.
So right there, what we saw, there's 2 things here, Ray. Pitting early is huge, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Garrett Maines got on and off pit road better.
I'm sorry, Ron Hart loses it off the corner. The 87, not Chrisley, but the 87 of Hart loses the rear end hard there, and Chrisley just about gets him in the rear deck lid, but he straightens it back up and lets Navarro pull way ahead of him. Navarro right now in second place and has a killer lead between him and third.
Yeah, he only lost maybe 3 to 4 car lengths from that. Didn't lose a position, so good on him for that. But Garrett Maines continues to lead. He's got a 1.5 second lead over Navarro. And it's going to be interesting, Ray, to see if Navarro, because these guys don't take tires. They can't take tires. There's no sets available. It'll be interesting to see if it stays green, if Navarro can actually chase him down, because the way I see it right now, he's not making up that much ground. He did pick up 2/10 right there that last lap. Let's see what it is this lap. We're going to take a look now. Yeah, he just picked up another 10th. So Navarro is closing in on your leader of Garrett Maines, but is it going to be enough?
Remember that last run that Navarro had. Okay, keep in mind when he got in front of the leader, he just took off like a shot. And obviously 2 laps later, Garrett Maines come into the pit. Navarro stayed out for 1 extra lap. I'll tell you, Navarro, maybe he has really good long run setup, and I believe he's closing in on Garrett Maines. Going to see what it's down to this time. 1.20 last time was the difference between first and second.
Almost a half a second, right?
Oh, 0.765. That cut out a lot of distance between him and the first place of Garrett Maines. Navarro is what we're going to keep our eye on for now as they shoot down the backstretch.
I give it another lap or two, and he'll be there. Just he's closing in so quickly. Either Garrett Maines is not running that hard, or Andrew Navarro he is the class of the field in this race. Obviously, they have something underneath that hood that nobody else has.
Now you got to realize these are our 2 top guys right now on the point standings, and we're going to get those all set up for you just before the second race. But as we're watching Navarro's front bumper cam, he is right there, that ESE on the back bumper of Garrett Maines. That's Elliott Sadler eSports for that number 1. And down the back chute we'll go. And we've only got 3 car lengths, make it 2, now 1, as they come down through turn 3 and 4 for Navarro.
When he took the lead earlier, he'd passed him on the outside. Is he going to do it again here? Garrett Maines got loose there, put the block on him. Andrew Navarro's going to look high going into 1.
19 laps to go last time across the stripe. Navarro to the outside, not enough momentum to do it this time. Half a car length separates them, but behind them from second to third, that's Ron Hart in third. There's at least a good 10 car lengths. With these guys battling different lines, it's giving it a chance to catch up. Navarro's heading to the outside, Bucky.
Yep, he's got that Honda roaring. He's there. They're side by side. It's going to be a drag finish to the start-finish line. Garrett Maines is going to lead that lap, but watch, Andrew Navarro, I guarantee you he will have the lead on the exit on going onto the backstretch.
Heading down turn 2, but it looks like Garrett Maines is able to hold his own by half a length. Navarro has his preferred line. Everybody's got the same amount of tire wear, but these 2 behind him, it looks like Derek Fulton as well as Ron Hart were challenging each other. Now it's going to be Curtis Chrisley on the inside of Derek Fulton, but a drag race side by side at the stripe right up front again.
Garrett Maines is going to have that lap. You know what, Ray? I'm very impressed by Derek Fulton tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. He's had some bad luck in these first 6 races, and here he is driving his heart out in the top 5. But anyway, Garrett Maines still the leader. Andrew Navarro could not make the pass. He's still looking on the outside.
This is getting really cool. Navarro is on the outside. The last 3 have actually caught up to the front 2. Side by side they go, even behind for third place. Down to the stripe we go again. Navarro's got the advantage this time. He'll take the lead this time at the stripe. Gets that lap in the books, but Maine shoots back to the bottom side. Able to hold on to that just a little bit. Navarro's got the momentum as well as the 2 guys behind him. It looks like we got some tandem Daytona racing going on all the way back through 5th. Chrisley to the rear end of Navarro. He'll give him a shove down the backstretch. Hart to the inside. Not enough lengths between him and the 1 to get a shove to the bottom side. Navarro with the advantage coming off of 4.
Curtis Chrisley, Ron Hart, and Derek Fulton, they all know that it is go time now. If they want to have a shot to beat the 1 or the number 2, they've got to make their move now. They've got to show them that they're there. They've got to get their cars to make the runs. This 87 is going to get... He got loose there, but saves it. Incredible driving tonight, Ray.
Yeah, thought for sure he was going to lose it right in front of the 7 of Fulton, but he held onto it coming off of turn 2. Down through turn 4, Navarro again with the bumper advantage. Still not able to take and clear the number 1. And it looks like, Navarro had it literally by a foot on the front of that nose. Down to the bottom side, the 27 now, Chrisley has caught the rear end of Garrett Maines. Everybody in a line on the bottom using that draft, trying to help Maines a little bit get back to the front. And as that's happening, Hart gets to the inside of Chrisley, and we're back to the tandem side by side again. Down through turn 3, Navarro has the advantage with the momentum, has the push from Chrisley. Chrisley goes up the track just a little bit with a 4-tire slide, misses the fence, but Navarro's going to lead this lap as well.
Garrett Maines going to make the charge on the inside. And Ray, this is impressive. I did not think we would see side by side for the lead for like literally 5 laps straight. For the fact that these guys are holding it, Navarro has a challenge from Chrisley, and he about lost it himself.
Navarro, that rear end of that number 2 is finally starting to come loose. Losing traction right now. It looks like Maines got it by a car length. Hart to the inside. And I believe Navarro's outside line is starting to fail him. You watch that rear end of that car. Last time he came off a 2, we're going to go at it again. He'll learn a little bit of the throttle this time. He go a little bit higher trying to get that traction. You're absolutely right, Bucky. He's trying like heck to take and hold onto that car. Single file down the back chute.
Garrett Maines is going to take it all the way down to the bottom. He's going to enter the corner so awkward, but he's going to hold it. Wow. And Navarro's making the run. He's there out of nowhere. Oh, my gosh.
11 laps to go at the stripe to decide this one. Right now, Garrett Maines holds his own. Navarro found a way around, but it's not working for him like it did a couple laps ago. He's to the bottom side. He's actually losing a little bit of ground to Maines, but that gives the advantage to Hart. Now, keep in mind, Hart lost the rear end of his car about 3 times that I've seen during this race, but right now it's a top 5 shootout between these guys. Maines, Navarro, Hart, Chrisley, and Fulton, and it is getting good. 10 laps to go at the line.
Derek Fulton says, okay, Navarro, I see what you're doing there. Guess what? I'm going to do it too. He's going to go from 5th to 2nd. He puts a charge. He's now side by side with Garrett Maines for the lead.
A little bit of help from Chrisley, cutting off that tail end drag on that number 7 car. He's using that outside. Maine's still on the bottom. Maine gets a little bit higher this time. He'll go to the white stripe as he goes down through 4. Not enough momentum from Fulton, but Fulton's going to try it just like Navarro did. He gives it a shot. Right now, he's still at the tail end of the 1, but not enough to go. 9 laps around to finish this one off.
Garrett Maines is still in command, but we've got a new challenger, Eric Fulton. He says, hey guys, remember me? I'm still here. He's going to battle for the win tonight, Ray.
You know, I'll tell you what, Pavement Marketing Incorporated, LLC, Twin 50s tonight from Texas. They took a heck of a night to take and come on board as one of the primary sponsors of the Outlaw E-Series Motorsports, super late models. And I'm going to tell you what, 8 laps to go. May still has got it. And a new second-place guy, as you were talking about before, Derek Fulton. But now a new challenge from the number 2 of Navarro to the bottom side. Navarro almost gets up into the 7. Everybody holds on going through 2.
I wonder if Navarro really wants to be up there where Derek Fulton is. Maybe he's like, my best chance at beating the 1 is to get past the 7. And so that's why he's stuck on the bottom, because I can't imagine, well, now he's going to look low. But anyway, I think Derek Fulton's actually taken Navarro's line right now, unless Navarro's just kind of riding around saving his tires to make a last 5-lap challenge. By the way, new leader there, but Garrett Maines is going to retain it. We're going to be side by side in the backstretch.
Yeah, he had it at the line. I'm talking about the number 7 of Fulton. He was your official leader next time, or last time anyways, when they crossed the start-finish line. And it looks like he may have a shot at it again. This is going to come down to the wire, Bucky. This is one killer race up front. Maines has got it just for a second. Let's see. Oh, Fulton comes back right even, but Maines has scored as a leader that time at the stripe. 6 laps to go, and still a 5-car battle up front.
I'll be honest, Ray, watching this race, I thought to myself, okay, Garrett Maines and Andrew Navarro, those are going to be the 2 guys battling for the win. But boy, was I wrong. They're there, but we've got 3 other guys, and guess who's catching them? Bradley Wilson in the back. He says, yeah, I'm still here too. Don't count me out.
5 racing for the front. Wilson's still trying to catch up, but he is there. Don't get him wrong. Don't count him out. 5 laps to go. The 27 of Chrisley gets into the back end. Navarro holds onto it. Opens the door in the bottom for the 87. Ron Hart goes low. He's got a run on him on the back stretch, but it's still a challenge up front. Now, right now, 87 will take over the 3rd place spot, and it looks like the Fulton's going to the outside again, holding that right to the floor in that 3rd groove. Has the momentum this time. Will he lead this lap? It looks like Maines.
No, Derek Fulton, I think.
Fulton did lead that lap, according to iRacing, man. It looks like, 4 laps to go.
I'm going to tell you what, if Derek Fulton can hang on the outside these last 4 laps, he has a shot to beat Garrett Maines at the line, but Garrett Maines is going to come up and block. Now Ron Hart is underneath the 7. Takes 2nd place.
Yeah, Fulton doesn't have the run he had last time on the outside, but that's okay. He's got to lead 1 lap, and that's coming up in 3 when they hit the stripe.
He's in the grass.
Through the grass, Fulton goes. He holds onto it, just left side tires, but opens the bottom. Ron Hart is down there. He's taking advantage of it. Hart slides up the track just a hair. Not enough to get in anybody, but enough to lose about a little bit of traction, maybe 1 car length to him and Maines. And it looks like Fulton's finally falling back to the field. I believe his run may be short-lived now, Bucky, but I'll tell you, he's got 3 laps to go. He's got to get back up there if he wants a chance at this.
And Andrew Navarro, Ray, it's like you guys, they take their shot at the 1, and then they fade. Andrew Navarro was the first one. He took a shot.
Hart just bumped the leader 3 times going into 1. He backs it up. Navarro gets in the back of him. 4 wide behind Hart. Hart holds up the whole place and just wrecks the entire field behind Garrett Maines. Unfortunately, just everybody sliding off a 2. 4 wide didn't work trying to get past the 87, and we'll get a replay here on the Fast Lane Sports Network.
Yeah, waiting for that replay to come up. I want to see it myself, who was involved, who wasn't involved. So the 87 gets in the back of the 1. And then the 2 gets into the back of the 87, takes it to the apron, loses it. 27, they go 4 wide. That's what it was, Ray. They went 4 wide. So Bradley Wilson did get significant damage there. I think everybody touched something, Ray. I think, everybody touched something.
Yeah, no fast repairs, by the way, in this league. I'm listening to the driver radio right now. I do see Ron Hart kind of making some apologies there. Again, the replay right here. Ron just had a killer run going through 1. He tapped the rear end of the 1 a couple times. When he came up the track with that 4 wide, got right into that number 2, and Navarro shoved him right up the track into Fulton. Nobody had any place to go, and it was just a domino effect from there. But guess who got out of this alive? That would be Garrett Maines. I believe they're all short on fuel, and they're coming in. Right now, they only have 1 Chapter at green-white checkers, so this could be a splash and go for the entire field. Everybody, oh, this is a replay. I was going to say everybody but whoever we're on board with. As we watch the onboard, this would be, I believe, Navarro, the number 2, and there it goes. Yeah, he took a heck of a ride.
I think he got the most damage out of all the guys. He actually got airborne there for a moment. Garrett Maines going to come off of pit road as the leader. Looks like Derek Fulton's going to be 2nd. Did Navarro, did he come down pit road, Ray, or did he?
Yeah, and Navarro's on pit road right now. I'm not sure what's taking him so long. I think he's going to try to get some damage fixed. And the only reason I'm hesitant here, I'm trying to listen to the driver's radio, and I believe again the 87 is had a few apologies there, from what I understand. And again, checking up like he did, unfortunately, getting into the back of the 1. That's that kind of what made a domino effect happen.
Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back to wrap this up. They get 1 attempt at a green-white checkered, and we'll come back with that.
I agree with you. You're watching the PMI LLC Texas Twins 250-lap races here at Texas on the Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series on the Fastlane Racing Network. We'll be right back. back here at Texas Motor Speedway. One of the biggest things I noticed, Chrisley went back into pit just before they were on this lap, Bucky. I think he just wanted to get more repairs done at 27. He's pretty beat up. In fact, I don't even see a fender on that right front tire there. You can actually see it roll. Pace car lights are off. We're going to do a green-white checkered attempt. Only one tonight. And I'll let you call the green, Mr. Bucky Burt.
Oh, well, thank you. Pace car is going to duck down, waiting on that green flag. There's only one car clean, and that's the leader, the number one of Garrett Maines and that Smithley board. And green flag does come out. But Garrett Maines is not going to go at the very beginning. He's going to allow Derek Fulton to have a run to the outside.
A little bit of damage on that Fulton machine, though. I think that's going to slow him down a bit because of that wreck. The inside of him, Ron Hart with the run. And Hart has got a killer run him on the number 7 there of Fulton to the outside. Hart does get clear of him. One of the new guys, Brad Wilson, that hasn't been up in the top 5 most of the night, but just kind of followed his field. He is on the inside of Derek Fulton. We're coming around turn 4. It looks like Wilson's over 3rd place. He's passed him, and this is the final lap of the first race.
Yeah, out of those guys that wrecked, all of them got damaged, but I don't think Bradley Wilson got that much damage. But he's not going to have enough to make a charge on the 87, not unless the 87 messes up turn 3. Derek Fulton just dropped like a rock. But Garrett Maines, he's in control. He's going to go through 3 and through 4, and he's going to come off of turn 4 and with a commanding lead, take the checkered flag and race 1.
Garrett Maines, the winner, first race of the night of 2 of 50 lap races here at Texas in the Pavement Marketing Incorporated LLC Texas Twins. I think Fulton realized that the car just wouldn't turn the way it should. He kind of fell off there, and we'll see if we can get some words of wisdom from our top 3 guys. We'll see. Let me see. I know I can pull them up here. I just got to figure out how to get to that point. So
we probably should only interview the winner, Ray, because they got to get to another room.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be the case. Let's bring Garrett Maines up rather quickly. Garrett Maines, Ray Richard, Bucky Burt up here in the broadcast booth, the winner of our first 50-lap race tonight. Tell us how you got it done, and, man, I'll tell you what, being on the bottom side like you were, man, I couldn't believe you did it all that way without changing any tires, which we know you don't have any other tires this evening.
Yeah, the fuel strategy was tough. I didn't want to give up the lead at any point, just in case, just because it's so easy to block here. But it's really hard to block when you're that slow. With me being out front and not having any draft, it was making it really hard to be able to save enough. And I was doing everything I could trying to save at the inconvenient times for other people. But man, I was just glad to see green white checker there with everybody needing a pit, because that guaranteed a really good situation for me, just because I was going to be able to go wide open with it essentially and not have to be babying it down the straightaways.
Well, Garrett, it seemed like your toughest challenger tonight was Andrew Navarro until he got caught up in that wreck there late at the end of the race. What was it like having him to your outside for all those laps that he was there? Did you think that was where the run was? What were you thinking? What was going through your mind?
I was literally just backing it up enough to hold him up there, but not let him clear, because I didn't want him to be able to, it was very hard for me to be able to control that, but I didn't want him to clear down, because then he would just pull away if he was able to drive harder than me for saving fuel. I just didn't want him, because I'm running for points with him, so I didn't want him to be in front of me. Anybody else, I might have been okay with it, but just the way he kept going to the outside, I'm like, I can run his tires off here, I can run his fuel out here, and the longer he's up there, the less he can charge me later. And I felt comfortable going into 2 to go there, that I was probably going to win the race. But green white checker was cool with me too. I mean, that was the same situation. So
yeah, you definitely had a great points night with you leading the most laps, winning the race, and Andrew finishing 5th. Did you learn anything going into the second race? Do you think we're going to see a little bit of the same?
I have a feeling it's going to be the same idea with trying to save fuel. I think if I can get out front or qualify on the pole again, I'm pretty sure if I qualify on the pole, I lock it up. So that's the goal for sure. Thankfully, we had a good first round, and I think that's going to be it. But still want to go out and do what we can, try to win the second one. Just a lot more comfortable now than before the start of this one.
Right.
Well, 1 down, 1 to go. Garrett Maines, the winner tonight. Opportunity to thank your sponsors, buddy. And, the mic's yours.
Appreciate it. Got to thank Smithfield, 101 CBD, SimSeat, Strickland Hardy, Lennox, Bradley Mechanical, all the guys at Elliott Sadler Esports for all their hard work. Congrats to Vicente and Ashton for making the Coke Series as well. That was really cool to get all three of us in. And also shout out to Richmond Raceway for all their support.
Garrett Main's winner of the first 50-lap race tonight. We're going to take one more break. We're going to come back in a little bit, and we're going to swap servers around again. Your top 10 on the screen right now. With that all being said, man, we'll be back for the second lap, or excuse me, the second 50-lap session as qualifying is underway already for that. You are watching the Fastlane Racing Network, the PMI LLC Texas Twins, here tonight from Texas. I want to welcome you back to the second half tonight. PMI LLC Texas Twins, that is Pavement Marketing Incorporated. It's a paving painting company out of Arizona on the West Coast. So if you need any asphalt done that is painted, that's the guys to call. Again, Paving Marketing Incorporated. We appreciate you joining us here tonight, as well as a primary sponsor for tonight's Twin 50s here at Texas Motor Speedway. We have our second race going up right now, and only about 8 guys made the field last time. Well, unfortunately, it's going to be the same way this time. Qualifying just finishing up here for the second half, and Garrett Maines on the point. And actually, Bradley Wilson, who kind of hung back most of the time during that main race last time, just took the outside of the front row. I'll get the lineup here as we go. Curtis Chrisley on the inside of the second row. He'll take up third, obviously, right there. Garrett Maines first, Bradley Wilson second, Curtis Chrisley inside of the next row, Lee Morgan outside of him, Andrew Navarro, again, trying to figure out the long run here. He had it last time. A little bit of slippage happened, and one unfortunately went towards the back. Ron Hart will be in sixth. Derek Fulton will bring up a seventh place spot out in the fourth row, and outside of him will be the number 11 of Billy Gray. Gray has an opportunity here. He knows what happened last time, got out of the draft, was not able to keep up with these guys, but the opportunity now shows itself. He's got to keep up there. He's got to keep up with these guys, and the draft is important. Again, it is only a short track, 1.5 miles, not Daytona, but these cars do have to use that. Bucky Burt, I think you're finally back in here with us. Just make sure everything's all set, and I believe he has the points for you.
I do. After that first race tonight, the 50 laps here at Texas Motor Speedway, it's safe to say Garrett Maines is going to leave here as the champion tonight. He has a 20-point lead over Andrew Navarro, so basically all he has to do is start the race, and he is your champion in the Outlaw eSports series. So Garrett Maines is your points leader with a 20-point lead over Andrew Navarro. Ron Hart's actually going to pick up a spot into third. Curtis Chrisley is going to fall to fourth. Derek Fulton fifth. James Morgan tied for fifth. Then Bradley Wilson seventh. Billy Gray eighth. And Brandon Hawk ninth. And 10th will be Kernan Church. And I'm not going to go down through the list of the field because a lot of these guys, it's been hit or miss if they show up for the race. But looks like Garrett Maines is going to be the champion tonight, Ray.
Yeah, he's starting on the point, and obviously all he's got to do is make it one lap, and I think he's got everything locked in. So that ESE car, Smithfield #1 machine, you're going to be your champion here later on this evening if all goes well for him. So again, you're looking at a pro driver right there in that #1 machine as well. We've talked about him before with Elliott Sadler eSports. He's going to be out in the Coca-Cola E-Series next season. So again, 2021, you're going to look out for that #1 of Garrett Maines. We're going to believe he's going to be the #1 car, unless, of course, it's already taken, and going for a shot at, well, what was last year, $400,000 purse, where the champion got $100,000. But again, that may grow, may weaken. We're not sure what's going to happen with the Coca-Cola E-Series this year. But again, that's a whole other game. And the super late models have pulled out in the Speedway. We got one lap before we go green.
That's right, one lap. And, Garrett Maines told us in the post-race interview moments ago that he feels if he can start on the pole, which he got, he's got a shot to lead all the laps and win the race. So we'll see if he can, if his words are going to come true tonight, Ray. But the lights are off on the pace car. It is about to duck down on pit road.
67 degrees track temperature, going to make for fast cars, great grip, and really high horsepower. Again, low humidity here tonight at Texas. Pace car off for the last time. Hopefully tonight, as long as we go green till the end. And here we go down to the stripe. Green flag immediately in the air for the last time for the season for the Super Outlaw eSports Series.
Garrett Maines, he's the pole sitter, and Bradley Wilson, P2. They were in a deadlock heat for the lead going at the start-finish line, but Garrett Maines is going to get the run going down the backstretch.
Fresh tires again. You got to still warm them up, and I just watched the 43 of Lee Morgan unfortunately come down through turn 1. The front end slipped. He flipped back, allowed Navarro to the inside off of turn 2 right now. First through third, all the way back in a single file line. Wilson right there in the track, so the #1. This is an improvement from his last run, where he was in last. And during that 4-wide wreck that happened about 3 laps before the end, he is now up in the second place position with that 51 machine.
If you remember, Bradley Wilson was up front at the beginning of that race and then just kind of faded. He's up front here. Let's see if he can stay with it. Maybe he learned a little bit in that first race.
Wow,
if I were him, I would... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just saying, wow, Chrisley, because he come out of turn 3, wiggled it a little bit, lost a ton of ground there to the 51 machine of Wilson. And, man, not sure exactly what happened. It could be that cold tire syndrome. Yeah, I see that there with Ron Hart, too. He kind of slipped up, finally fell back down to the bottom side of the track. Navarro, though, is on the charge to the outside, the 51. Looks like he's going to have a run down the back chute.
Yeah, Bradley Wilson knows he doesn't have a shot to win the championship tonight because it's already locked up. But he's like, I got a shot to win the race. He's going to put a charge on the outside. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line, and Bradley Wilson, I think, is going to lead that lap, Ray.
I believe you are correct, Bucky. From second to first, Wilson got a nose to Mains there at the start, and he's got a really nice run coming down through, too. He's got to the outside. Mains will fall up behind him, fall in line. The 27 to Chrisley right behind. Navarro, not necessarily a replay of the last race, but a whole new group of names back up front. But here's the next thing. 8 cars have started, 8 cars directly in line, and that number 11 of Billy Gray, who fell out of the draft last time, he is keeping up with these guys, so don't count him out. It's early on in this race. Lap 5 is being completed.
Well, in the victory lane speech, Garrett Maines said when he had Navarro to his outside, he kind of backed off the throttle, just tried to keep him up there, make him run his fuel. Well, he didn't do it to Bradley Wilson. Bradley Wilson just drove it around him and took the lead commandingly, and now he's got a 1-car length lead over Garrett Maines, who dominated race 1.
A little bit of gyro cam action there that we just saw on board of the number 1 of Maines. You've seen how banked this place is. One of the problems that they had with Texas Motor Speedway years ago was, in the real world anyways, that was so far banked and so fast that literally IndyCar guys were getting dizzy going around this facility. So they had to reconfigure it back in the early 2000s, obviously, to the facility that is today. Nice blue wall with all the stars on the outside, and it looks like right now Maines has got a nice windshield full of that 51 of Bradley Wilson, who's going to lead lap number 6.
Yeah, I think that repave was within the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, it could be around that area. I knew it was soon. I knew it was 2000, but I wasn't sure when. I didn't think it was the 1900 by any means. So.
Yeah, no, they made the turn 1 more of a wide sweeping turn. But it's still tight on the exit, though.
Yeah.
I love this racetrack, but I'm horrible at it. So, but I definitely wish I could be out there with these guys, though, because this looks like a lot of fun running these cars around this 1.5 mile oval.
Well, a couple things with it. There's one thing I've noticed when you run any of the Xfinity or Cup cars here, you can run the bottom through 3 really hard. And with these cars, there's actually a lot of horsepower underneath the hood of these super late models. You're talking, anywhere from 600 to 700 horsepower, depending on how the engine's built. Looking at the rear bumper, by the way, of Chrisley right now, back to that number 2, Navarro going down the back chute. Navarro's looking at that high line again, right in that 3rd spot. And again, a lot of the guys running down the bottom at turn 3 and 4, keeping it on the floor. They go down the front chute. Let's see, Wilson's going to take that lap. And I was incorrect in the speeds. 179 miles an hour entering down to turn 1. These guys do get them wound up when they go down to that chute.
That's right, and they're running wide open race. So it's fascinating, especially that with no tires being allowed to be changed, the fact that they can still run wide open and keep it straight is impressive. But Bradley Wilson, the leader, is going to get a little sideways there. Garrett Maines is all over him, looking high and looking low.
By the way, Navarro the same exact way. He got a little bit sideways coming off of 3. He dove it to the bottom side, not where he's used to going, nor the car, obviously, itself, but it kicked the rear end out, was able to straighten it back up. I mean, these cars are also easily recoverable. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, you can't have accidents, you can't spin, et cetera, but they're so low to the ground, so wide, so heavy of tires, and again, they're a bias ply tire. They're actually more pliable, so they stick to the track pretty good. Navarro with a killer run to the outside, as we're giving an example right now. Look at that right front camera off of Garrett Maines' car. Navarro is going to take it to the point. He actually took over a 2nd place spot at the stripe, but he's got Wilson for a challenge up front.
I think Bradley Wilson's going to have the run, though, on the bottom with Garrett Maines pushing him. But knowing Navarro, he's going to run it in deep, and he does. He's now going to have the lead, and he's close to clearing him.
Well, he thinks he's going to do it this time. Maines sees that. He says, my turn. He'll go to the outside of Bradley Wilson. Navarro leads that lap. Wilson still takes over the 2nd spot. Maines not used to run out there. He loses the rear just for a moment. Gives the opening to the number 27 of Curtis Chrisley. Chrisley to the bottom side. Passes Maine. Still a long ways to go.
Oh,
don't count Maine out yet.
Wall rider up to the back.
I was going to say, was that, it's okay. Was that Curtis Chrisley that hit the wall, or did I see the wrong car? Oh, that was Bradley Gray, or Billy Gray, excuse me.
Yeah, he hit the wall a ton and got all right side tires to ride it. But he's back, we're going to take a look here. But yeah, he just nailed it, and it went for a ride.
Yeah, climbed the wall there. A little bit of that safer barrier, was able to take and pull the car right off the ground on the right-hand side, but able to continue. No caution flag, nothing sideways. And back up front, Navarro is starting to get his killer lead like he did before. Earlier on in the run of the last race, we're going to see exactly what's going to happen this time. Chrisley with a four-wheel slide goes way up top, opens the bottom for Maines. Maines will take it through. Ron Hart says, yep, I'm coming with you, man. To the bottom side, Hart will go. And it looks like he's following Garrett Maines right now. Garrett Maines takes over the third spot.
One thing I'm going to watch here, Ray, in race number 1, this is about the time Bradley Wilson and Derek Fulton, those guys started to fall back. I'm going to see if that happens again. I think Bradley Wilson learned something in that first race, and I think he's here to run, but he's got a challenge from Garrett Maines right now. So I think Garrett Maines is going to get around Bradley here within the next lap or two. Well, he's going to make me a liar. Okay, so he's going to just tuck back in. But it'll be interesting, though, to see how Bradley Wilson is. Did he fix things? Is he going to hang on? What's going to happen?
I'm going to give you a little pointer here. Of course, you're going to watch Garrett Maines, go to the outside. Got a little mix-up names there. There was a gentleman I used to spot for late models called Gentleman Jim Southard, and he used to tell me when we were in the stands watching a race, there's something called the nudging point. So if something happens, you nudge the guy next to you and you point it. So here's the deal. The audible nudging point for us is ooh. So as I'm saying ooh, you're going to see that 51 of Brad Wilson. He's coming out of every corner right now. Yes, sir. The right rear has lost traction on that machine. I've watched him for the past lap and a half, and I've oohed it about 3 times. He just wiggles that whole rear end off that corner. Of course, in the third groove, he's not doing it. But when he was down low defending that front position, it just wanted to come off and head to the fence with the rear end. But the front end still went where he wanted it to. That's why he was able to point the car. He'll fall back into looks like to be the 7th position right now, from 1st to 7th in about 2 laps. I believe the handling of that 51 has gone away. But back up front, Navarro still leads with at least a half a second gap.
Yeah, and just like I said, Ray, this is about the time where we saw him fall back in race number 1. So not surprised there. I just thought maybe he could learn something. But, yeah, it's Andrew Navarro dominating this early portion of the race here, and Garrett Maines in 2nd, Ron Hart in 3rd. The normal players, those are the guys that you see, and Curtis Chrisley there too. These are the guys that you've been seeing week in and week out in these 7-week series of guys that are up there battling for the lead and the win. Now, it's 7 weeks, but not 7 races. We've had a couple of double headers. So a lot of racing going on here to carry us into Christmas.
Well, let's see, 32 laps to go. It's lap 19 is what we're on. And I just noticed something I was looking at on my screen. When Navarro goes down into turn 1, he tops out at 180 miles an hour. No more, no less. He's right on that edge of 180. The number 1 of Maines, 179. Believe it or not, it doesn't sound like much. But if you're lifting the throttle a little bit earlier to make that car sit, you're saving the tires, you're making the turn. I'm going to watch it one more time on my screen. I'm going to watch the one of Garrett Maines as he goes down to turn 178, 179, and he does. He lifts before it hits 180. And Navarro is just hammering it right down through turn 1. Like you were saying, full throttle, Bucky. It also depends on your line. So you're going to lift a little bit to get into the turn to set the car. And that's what Maines is doing right now. And he's holding off that 87 of Ron Hart and Chrisley behind him. And he still has a nice little run, as you're seeing from the front cam, at least the inside cockpit cam of Ron Hart machine, the 87. And it looks like Maines is pulling away from him by at least 3 car lengths at the stripe. Lap 21 is what we're on. We're getting close to green flag pit stops.
And that is what's so fascinating about racing. Because as you said that, where Garrett Maines was 179, 178 going in the corner, guess who was going 182 into the corner? Curtis Chrisley.
Really?
Yes. Now, you didn't see him make up any ground. He lost ground. And let's answer that question, why? Well, the exit.
Mm-hmm.
You mess up the entry, you lose the exit.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, if you think about it, if you can be consistent and you can tippy-toe into the first turn, bring that excess that you just lost out of the last turn. So in other words, tiptoe into 1, excess out of 2. And like you were just saying, You lose it in one, you lose it in two. Or excuse me, you gain it in one, you lose it in two. It's always opposite. The 11, by the way, first guy down, Billy Gray in pit road, just getting fuel this time. This is lap 23. That might make it to the end with him. I'm not certain on that run.
He was about to go a lap down, Ray. He was that guy that got into the fence there about 10 laps ago. So, but Gray, we were watching this pack here with Garrett Maines leading in second place, but Navarro is nowhere to be found.
Oh, Navarro! Whoa! As you were saying that,
is like checked out.
It was wild. What I was saying, the nudging point was Navarro come off of turn 4, literally went 45 degrees angle. I was going, ooh, because I thought he was losing it. He didn't. He cranked that left front tire down there to get into the pits, slowed it down in time. Now he's going to head to his pit and get fuel for the end of this run. My apologies, but man, he had that car just about sideways.
It's okay, Ray, and I'm going to tell you, this is going to work out in his favor. He did come a little early, because we know that, with Garrett Maines, when he won that race last, even though these guys, they were worried about fuel, I guess, because of the green-white checkered. But Navarro had like a 30 car length lead over second place, and he comes to pit road first. They've already gone around another lap, so he's going to go to pit road maybe 2 laps. I think these guys are going to pit now. I just saw where they're starting to get on the radio, so I guess they're coming to pit road. So they're going to hang out an extra lap. It's going to be interesting to see exactly. Oh, the 87 gets the wreck coming to pit road.
87 gets in too fast. He gets into the back of Garrett Maines. Ron Hart just really hot coming into the pit lane there. Damage to the front of the 87. Looks like a little bit to the rear of Garrett Maines. Nothing serious, though. Not sure if the 87 got slowed down enough time for a penalty or not. We're going to keep an eye on that. Chrisley right now is your actual current leader. Navarro showed 1 lap down, but that's all going to cycle through where Navarro's going to have the advantage. My question to you, Bucky, is do you think Navarro's strategy is going to hold off as good as the setup on the long run?
Well, I think the strategy is going to work in the early run, not the long run. I think he's going to have to come back down pit road and get fuel as well as the rest of these guys. I think it's just too close. But Navarro, what it does is, he's just going to have a commanding lead. He's already halfway down the backstretch, and these guys are just now getting to the backstretch, and they're not even at full speed.
The other thing that kind of eludes me with this whole thing, we've been talking about the draft all night long. Well, you just watched 5 cars in a single car draft, or single line draft, trying to chase down a guy that's all alone, pulling away from him. Navarro is just getting it done. The man is on a rail right now tonight with that number 2. He did it early in the run, obviously, on the first 50-lap race. But again, here we are in the second. Chrisley, by the way, being shown as the leader last time at the stripe. The only reason is Chrisley was in his pit past the stripe when Navarro hit it. Chrisley right now making his way back onto the speedway, as it looks like Derek Fulton on the outside of him, and everybody falls back in line. Garrett Maines, Navarro, those are your top 2 at this point. Navarro leading.
Well, the 4-second lead at that. So we've already cycled through pit stops. I expect him to maybe pit one more time to top it off to go to the finish. And I think it's a perfect time to take a break, Ray. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. Right now, you're watching, Fastlane Racing Network with the, you know what? I hate to say this, but I lost my note for a moment. The PMI LLC Texas Twins, again, 2 50-lap races here from Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Pavement Marketing Incorporated, or PMI LLC Texas Twins. That's what we're watching here tonight from Texas Motor Speedway. 15 laps to go, and you're watching third spot right now of Derek Fulton. Curtis Chrisley and Ron Hart battle it out. But back up front, Bucky, I'll let you take it from there because there's a big old gap between the first and second place.
Yeah, and I've been watching that gap. Ray Navarro, your leader, Garrett Maines in second. Moments ago, or a few laps ago, it was about a 6-second gap. Now it's 5 seconds. So Navarro has got a 5-second lead over Garrett Maines. But I'm a little worried, Ray, because when we talked to Garrett Maines in race 1 that he won, we had an overtime where they finished the race at 55 laps instead of 50. And Garrett Maines said, I'm glad the caution came out when it did because we were going to be tight on fuel. Well, Garrett Maines was the first car to pit on race number 1, and that was on lap number 25. Tonight, Andrew Navarro came down pit road like lap 22, 23. So I'm a little worried if the number 2 car is going to have enough fuel. If I'm him, and I'm worried, you got a 5-second gap, I'd start saving.
Well, that was one thing we were discussing during the break was, okay, let's see, Navarro is way out front. He's got a 5-second gap back to Garrett Maines. Obviously, we just talked about that. But here's the deal. You think he spent 2 excessive laps of fuel keeping that front car front so far where these other guys were in a draft saving that fuel? And, of course, Maines lifting a little bit earlier into the corners. And, again, there's a big fuel strategy going on here right now. The front end right now of Derek Fulton's car, you're looking at the rear end of Garrett Maines and how far the gap from second to third is. If you look at that little dot way going into 1, that's Navarro. Navarro is leading this thing by that much. In fact, he just pulled away from Garrett Maines on another 1/10 of a second, making 5.137 last time at the line. But Fulton gained a little bit off the 2 behind him. And we're talking about the 87 and 27. That's Hart and Critchley. Everything's been clean and green so far. A little bit of slippage here and there. Not a lot of getting together like they were during the last race towards the end of the run.
Oh, and you're out there all alone. You're using more fuel.
Yeah.
I think the guy in the catbird seat right now is Garrett Maines because we know he's losing ground to the leader. So that's only telling me 1 or 2 things. Either he's just slow, he's just not as fast as the 2, or he is saving fuel. And, it's fluctuating, Ray, between 1/10, 2/10, and even 3/10 a lap that he's losing to the leader of Navarro.
9 laps to go as Navarro hits the stripe right now, by the way. I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to call this for 1 lap, and there's a reason being. One of the spotter tricks that we used to use, and still use as of today, even though all the technology's out there, is, okay, we pick a spot in the track like the start-finish line, and we tell your guy, we'll call it Garrett Maines, say, I'm spotting for right now, who is in second. We're going to tell him where the leader is to him on the track, so it gives him an idea how far behind it is. So let's see. We're going to watch Navarro. He'll come off of turn 4. I'll go leader, start-finish line, now. And you look back at Garrett Maines. Garrett knows he's coming off of turn 4. Obviously, that's the distance he's seeing, even though he can see that little speck of Aaron Navarro in front of him. And I'm going to have to agree with you, Bucky, though. Navarro, I don't think, has the goods to make it to the end because of the fuel situation that's in at number 2, 8 laps to go.
Yeah, the only thing that'll change that, Ray, is if a caution comes out. Or maybe Garrett Maines told us a little fib. I don't know. We don't know. We can't look at these guys' fuel tanks, so we don't know, and we're not really great at math either. So, but it'll be interesting because we've got 6 laps to go here, or 7 to go rather, and we're gonna know in the next 5 laps if Navarro is able to hang on to this thing because he is now 5.7 seconds ahead of Garrett Maines. So maybe Maines is the one saving fuel, and he might take race number 2 again. I don't know.
You know, it's funny. The only reason I was laughing is I have to agree with you with that statement with the math anyways. But back to the race here for a minute. Critchley, by the way, just got by Ron Hart. He'll take over the top 4 spot. It'll be Hart back to the 5th spot. That seems to be the only challenge on the racetrack right now, but there is one developing. And again, under 6 laps to go, that's the number 7 of Derek Fulton. He is slowly catching that Garrett Maines machine. 1, will he run out of laps? Or 2, will he finally get it in gear? And actually, he's been saving those tires all this time, able to get at least up to 2nd place. And the next drama we got going, Navarro, will he make it to the end? 5 laps to go at the line, and Navarro has made it past that point. down into turn 2. The other thing is, too, the longer you go on this track, so the higher you go, the longer around the track it is, you're wasting fuel. Navarro just went around the third groove from first to second, quarters that is, and it looks like he's getting to the bottom side of 3. But that's what you want to do, is you want to shorten up your line as much as possible, especially if it comes to a fuel run. We could be total wrong on this, Bucky, but Navarro looks like he's making it happen right now. Again, 4 to go.
These guys have definitely made us look like liars this season.
That's true too.
I mean, it has happened. We can only tell you so much, but dang, Fulton is all over Garrett Maines right now. Maybe Fulton knows that hey, Navarro might run out of fuel, but then again, we don't know that, guys. We don't.
Well,
but Fulton looking to the high side of Garrett Maines.
Navarro's in.
I told you. What is it? 3 laps here.
3 laps to go.
Garrett Maines now the leader.
Yeah,
we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. Navarro's he's going over the radio. I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I think Navarro was banking on a caution, to be honest with you, and it did not happen. So with that being said, our leader, Navarro, goes in. Now the challenge is for second. Actually, make it first once they hit the stripe. Garrett Maines takes over the lead. Fulton, who started 7th in this race, up to second, has chased down the number 1 of Garrett Maines. He's got 2 laps to make it happen, and I think it's going to be one killer challenge. Keep an eye on that number 7. We're going to go down to the wire on this second 50-lap race.
Well, the 7, in my opinion, and there's no knock on Fulton, but the 1 has been the class of the field at Texas Motor Speedway tonight. And his only bet is to pressure the 1 of Garrett Maines and cause him to run out of fuel. That would be my line of thinking for this. But here we go. Coming to the white flag. Garrett Maines is your leader. Eric Fulton in second, about a car length back. Ray, it's the final lap. I'll let you call it to the finish.
The Outlaw Super Late Models eSports Series tonight. Final lap of the season. Led by Garrett Maines down the backstretch. Fulton, we thought, had a shot, but he backed off going down through turn 2. Maybe a little bit of a handling situation. Nonetheless, lost about 3 car lengths on the number 1 as Garrett Maines comes down through turn 4 for the final lap tonight and of the season of 2020. Garrett Maines is your winner and champion of the Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series.
That's right. What a show, Ray, and what a season. What a drive by Garrett Maines and the number 1 Smithley Ford Mustang.
Smithfield.
What did I say?
Smithley.
Oh, my bad. See, hey, it's getting late, guys.
It's all good, buddy. It's all good.
Navarro wrecks it, guy. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, Smithfield. I knew what I was thinking because I'm thinking bacon.
Yes, sir.
Because Garrett Maines just brought home the bacon.
Well, we're going to get Garrett Maines up here again, but first, let me see if we can get anybody else. Curtis Chrisley is available. Derek Fulton's available. We'll get our top 3 up here as we go down through. So Curtis Chrisley first. We'll bring him up to the broadcast booth. Curtis Chrisley, again, top 3 for tonight. Great run as of the first one anyways. And, man, podium finish. Fantastic job at the end, getting past Ron Hart and taking home a podium tonight, man.
Thank you very much. That was that was awesome racing with Ron. I can't that was just so much fun. Like it came down right to the final corner, and gas was playing a big part in that race too.
That was my next question. I was curious of how far in fuel you guys were, and I'm sure you were on the floor. At least that's what it looked like from up here all the way around this facility. And I'll tell you, we thought for sure we'd be seeing a couple cars run out of fuel. Navarro, Bucky called that, by the way. Navarro just stayed right out front, and I thought for sure that there was a chance he'd make it, but I was completely wrong. So Bucky beat me on that call. Either way, Curtis, man, just tell us your night, man. I mean, you did a great run, great season, and we called your name a lot of times tonight, being up there in the top 5.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun season tonight, especially too. We had a great run in the first race. Just got caught up in a little bit of incident on the very end there, and kind of ruined our finish. But I think we were able to execute this time too, and I actually learned some few tricks about saving some gas, because I think we were almost going to run out in that first race, and we almost ran out this race too, even though I went an extra lap. But we just had to push so hard because Ron and I were just constantly drafting each other and just trying to save gas but still be ahead of each other. It was just ultimate chess game.
Well, that is definitely part of the game with these stock cars, obviously anywhere, whatever you run. And tonight again with the Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series, man, bringing home a top 3. Anybody you want to thank? And also, being you've run the Snowball Derby this year, and congratulations on that. Still had a great run there. Any plans for your 2021 season?
Not taking anything too seriously yet. Still open to many plans that might come up to us, but right now I'd like to thank Bailey Farms, CGN Chassis, Phantom Graphics, Pavement Marking, 7C's Cruises, all these people that just support the team. I appreciate them so much, and I can't thank them enough.
Curtis Chrisley taking home a top 3 for the second race tonight. And again, we're going to bring our top 2 into the broadcast booth here very shortly. Derek Fulton, Ray Richer, Bucky Burt up here in the broadcast booth. Again, top 3 tonight, man. Did a hell of a job. We thought for sure you're going to run down Garrett Maines. I'm going to let Bucky say hi to you as well here in a second. Derek, run us through your night, man.
Yeah, it was an interesting night, to say the least. I think I definitely had something in the first race. I knew I was good to go on fuel. Had that run on the outside. Garrett was trying to a little bit, so I couldn't quite clear him. But when that wreck happened, I had a little too much front end damage, so couldn't really do anything in that first race. But the second race just kind of kept it clean. Almost got into some trouble there on pit lane. That was entertaining. Just had a really good pit entrance and took advantage of it. And I saved for I think 2 or 3 laps after I came out of the pits, and then after that I was like, it's all or nothing here. And I literally ran out of fuel coming through the first part of the tri-oval there. So, I mean, yeah, even if I could have got up to Garrett, got beside him, that little sputter would have been enough. He would have pulled me out the line anyway. So I cut it as close as I possibly could. But, at least we finished.
Hey, Bucky, I got to say something quick to Bucky here. Bucky definitely called fuel mileage tonight, and I didn't think that I personally didn't think that anybody really had the chance to get it to the end, but Bucky even thought deeper into that. So, Bucky, I'll let you take it from here, Mr. Fulton.
Yeah, Derek, good run tonight. You showed some muscle to finish out the season. By the way, congrats on pulling this season off. You've done a great job getting these guys to come out and put on great races. So kudos to that. Awesome finish here in the second race. We saw what happened in the first one where you got caught up in that wreck. But I was telling Ray, I said, no knock to Derek, but Garrett has definitely been the class of the field tonight and even throughout the season. So I didn't really see because fuel mileage was going to be an issue. And I know Garrett was saving. You could tell by looking at his lap times and how he was working the throttle. So my assessment was, I think your only option was to put the pressure on him to make him run harder. Was that what your line of thinking was? And obviously, you ended up running out of fuel there at the very end.
Yeah, I knew he was saving, and that's why I was able to catch him as quick as I did. So I knew I had to start to push him a little bit. I knew if I got in front of him that he would have my draft and that he would end up saving a little bit. So I knew that I had to try to push him from behind to try to get him to use up a little bit more fuel. And in the process, I actually was able to save probably almost an extra lap just in his draft. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have ran out on the last lap myself just from pushing it so hard in that run. I knew I had to get to his draft, that's for sure, just to save that extra lap. And it just worked out. But yeah, Garrett was class of the field tonight. I feel like I had a better shot in the first race. But knowing I knew he was going to run out of fuel in the first race. So I was just trying to stick my nose in there and make sure I was the first car out. And then when we had that yellow, obviously it saved him a bit. So I was just trying to save enough in that first one. But second one, he had the strategy down. And, it's just shows you why he is at the level he's at. He's just got everything down right to, just pit entry and pit exit and everything. And then you really need to put together the whole thing to have it come together. So.
Well, y'all season ends here tonight. You go off into Christmas and New Year's. What's the plans for you and the league going forward?
Right now,
we're can't say anything yet.
Yeah, right now we're a little bit up in the air with everything. There's a couple things being talked about. Definitely wanting to try to do something. It's just a matter of finding the right nights and everything, and try to get a few. Try to get like a 40 car field if we were going to do it next season. So it's just a matter of scheduling and when everybody can make it, because when everybody can make it, they're here, but it's there's a lot going on these days with leagues and other stuff going on. So
All right. Well, good run tonight. Tell everybody who gets it done for you on the racetrack.
Yeah, thanks. I just can't thank anybody or everybody else at our virtual shop. I guess the CGN chassis shop has just been amazing since it started last 2 weeks. We've definitely turned some heads in our very short life that we've had going there. So just gonna keep the momentum going there, and then trying to do us shine for coming on board with me for 2021. That was exciting, and Phantom's always got me too as well. So and all my other league sponsors and just even the guys that help our team out, 7C's, B-Leaf, and PMI. Everybody's been just a huge help to what we're trying to do, and it shows. And every day we're getting better and growing bigger. So we'll just keep this momentum up.
Derek Fulton actually is the gentleman that runs your Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series, and we'll see them probably sometime soon at the beginning of next year. Derek, again, congratulations on a top 3 finish tonight. Second place, again, bringing it home with that number 7 machine, and just about running out of fuel towards the last laps. We'll bring in our champion and our winner of tonight's race. Again, that is no other than Garrett Maines. Bucky, Burt, what the heck do we say about this guy? I mean, he's accomplished everything in this league. He's got some big future plans ahead of him and just great strategy on fuel. And I thought for sure, by the way, if Navarro was able to take and pull off the fuel mileage that he was going to get you. But, man, Maines, what a run you had on both races. Won both races and made it way through.
Well, Ray, before he even speaks, I just have one thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Garrett, can I have your autograph?
Now would be the time to get it. That's for damn sure. Because here's the deal. Garrett, tell everybody out there is listening and watching. First of all, what's your background? Let's get this out in the open a little bit. We know that you've done some real world racing. How old are you? What's your experience? Tell us about Garrett Maines.
Yeah, I'm 19. I started racing. Well, technically I did go-karts back when I was 5, but I really started racing when I was 10. Doing arena racing, which is, if you know what mini cup cars are, it's kind of like a bandolero inside of a 1/10 of a mile, high banked indoor track, aluminum but painted, so lots of grip. Grip flipping was very frequent. But that's what I started doing, and that's basically like Bristol on steroids. And so you have to be really good at judging where cars are going to go, stuff like that. I got onto the sim to practice for legend cars, actually, which at this point it's become much more than that. Never expected it to, never was the intention, but here we are. And now it's not only a hobby, but hopefully something that will lead to much more in the future, and hopefully we can take our sponsor Smithfield into potentially some big car stuff in the future. We'll just have to see how that goes. But that's the goal, is to get in some more racing, not just Legends, but hopefully the Truck Series. That's, like I said, that's the goal. We'll just see what happens in 21.
Yeah, before we go on, talking about tonight's efforts, you brought up, you got on iRacing to learn the Legends car and then look at what it's turned into. So walk us through, it went from more or less a test session for you, seat time, if you will, to now you're competing on the biggest stage in sim racing on iRacing, with a prominent team, prominent name in Elliott Sadler, to having Smithfield, who is a big time NASCAR sponsor in the Cup Series, coming on board with your efforts. So, how did this path turn into this, and has it actually opened more doors for you like it did? We look at guys like Ty Majeski and William Byron. They have an iRacing background. Look at what they're doing in their respective fields of racing. So for you, I mean, obviously it wasn't on your radar, but what kind of doors has it opened, and has it kind of fast-tracked your career in the real life racing?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, family-wise, there's no money to be going racing. So fast-tracking career is an understatement, because there would be no career. This has definitely been a huge benefit. It's basically taught me racecraft. You find out expensively how to race around people if you do it in real life. But on here, there's a very nice reset button, and over time, you make mistakes and learn from them. So, but that's been the benefit of being on here, is just to have been able to learn all that stuff without the consequences, and through trial and error, and with lots of people helping me along the way, I've been able to figure out a lot of things on here, and it translates to real life racing. It's just, on the occasion we get to do it. So hopefully we can do that more in the future. The only thing missing from, the storyline of, William Byron and Ty Majeski is an iRacing sponsorship. So, throwing that hint over there. If you get
Now's
some
the
real life,
time.
exactly. You get iRacing as a sponsor on a real car. That's, you've made it.
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, we do see big things in your future, as well as you're not holding back by any means, and that's a big plus. That's a big plus. It is hard to make it in today's racing world, but as long as it can be translated, like you were saying, over to the real world of what you're doing now, it does show you have a lot of potential. And again, what can we say about Garrett Maines? I mean, he's got over 2,000 wins on the service. So we've said that before. He's going 2021 Coca-Cola E-Series Racing, which again put out a $400,000 purse last year. The winner got $100,000. Each race winner gets $10,000. So here's the deal: all you got to do is win, run, race. That'll help you buy an engine for a local late model, at least. You know what I'm saying? At least a little bit of bank obviously goes a long way in racing, but it's obviously difficult with today's economy and everybody out there. Regardless, Garrett, don't forget us little guys. That's all I can tell you. We'll do our best to kind of point you in the right direction and try to help you get to the next step. But obviously, we're only iRacing guys here. But a lot of us here. Oh, wait. We're getting to that point. I'm getting to that point.
Okay. All right, you go ahead.
But what I'm getting at, Garrett, Bucky has a racing background in let me see, social media, promoting drivers, stuff like that. And I have a spotting background.
Actually, on the NASCAR circuit.
On the NASCAR circuit. I've got ARCA spotting. So don't forget us little guys. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
the podcast is still strong, so we'll definitely get you on there.
But yeah, we'll definitely one of these things, one of these days we'd like to have you on the podcast. Again, the Bucky Burr Show. That's a whole different story. This is the Outlaw eSports Series super late model session. But again, Garrett Maines, we are very much looking forward to your future, man. And I know you are too. So we'll be watching out for you. Again, first place tonight, both events, 50 lappers. And now is one more opportunity we're going to give you to thank your sponsors and whoever else has gotten you to this point, being that this is the last race of the season.
Yeah, I got to thank Smithfield and 101 CBD, SimSeat, Strickland Hardy, Bradley Mechanical, Lennox, and everybody that's helped me along the way. It's been a really crazy year. Coming through RTP, really didn't look like we were going to make it, and then we really turned it up at the last 2 and 3 races. I guess it was the last 4 races. Really got the points we needed to get into the Pro Series, and we all know how the Pro Series went. It was a really good season, and I got to thank everybody that put in the work there to make that happen. That was amazing to be able to go out, especially at Richmond. That was definitely the highlight of the season, to have such a good car there and to be able to do what we did. But also got to thank all the guys at ESC, obviously, for all that, and the guys at Richmond Raceway eSports as well for all their support.
Okay, Bucky, any last words to Mr. Garrett Maines before we finally close off the evening?
Well, I've only raced against you maybe 2 or 3 times on iRacing, and it was a pleasure sharing the track with you. And it's also been a pleasure of calling the races and the many wins that you've had in this series. So Merry Christmas, Garrett. Happy New Year. And hopefully we can do both of those again very soon. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
Garrett Maines, the winner of both 50-lap twin PMI LLC Texas races tonight, and the champion of your Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series for the 7th race, actually the 7th week in a row. We've had more than 7 races, all the way down through, and again, pulling off the championship with the number 1 machine, Smithfield Blue Car. But again, Bucky Burt, we have had one quite of a season here. We're going to just real quick run down the 8 finishers here tonight. Garrett Maines in the second one anyways. Derek Fulton in second. Curtis Chrisley in third. Ron Hart in fourth. Lee Morgan in fifth. Bradley Wilson in sixth. And Navarro unfortunately slips back to a seventh. Billy Gray will round out your top 8. And that's your finishing order for the second race this evening. Bucky Burt, one last, any bit of words before we close out the night and the season on this race?
Well, Ray, I want to thank you for bringing me along on this journey, getting back into the booth, calling the races. It's been a long, long time since I've done this. And guess what? excuse me, and it has been a ton of fun.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
so I've had a good time, and it's been fun watching these race car drivers get out here and show us what they've got. It's been a fun and very exciting season, full of action-packed racing, and I'm looking forward to watching Garrett's career blossom just even more. So you can always follow me on Twitter at Bucky Burt, and the Bucky Burt Show on Facebook. That's all I got, Ray.
That's okay, buddy. I appreciate everything that you've done. And I also want to say I appreciate Seth Cole, who is working all your camera angles tonight, producing the show out only about 20 miles from me, we found out in a conversation we had off air. And Seth, one of these days we'll have to meet up and maybe do some racing ourselves. But with that all being said, we're going to close out the season. We appreciate everybody that has joined us throughout all these races. And again, have a great, great Merry Christmas, safe with your family, a Happy New Year. And we appreciate everybody again watching tonight, the PMI or the Pavement Marketing Incorporated LLC Texas Twins. You just watched the Super Outlaw Late Model Series. Anyways, the Outlaw eSports Super Late Model Series. I'll get that correct. Here on the Flatout Racing Network. Again, I'm Ray Richard. That's Bucky Burt, Seth Cole on the cameras. We'll see you next time and have a great New Year and Christmas.